Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here, greenies, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day of me trapped in bed. Now, as much as I say me trapped in bed, and I'm going to talk about this part if I can remember, as much as my activities of daily life have been, chopped, I got a story to tell. Now, the day prior, I had been so mixed up and such that I didn't get out for walkies. I barely got anything done at all. So yesterday, I, upset at that, decided to do more things. And so as I wrote in a post, I did a 6-mile round trip from here to Walmart and back. And I did some mild shopping. I'm now out of money, and I got a money story to tell, and oh my God. But I bought some tiny stuff with the few bits of money that I had, and then I came back. Now, the thing, of course, about walking is I'm using my walker so that if I have to carry anything, I'm going to have it in a basket on the front. Now, if I don't have anything to carry, I'm just going to go out without that. But so far, I've used my walker. The walker itself is heavy. I have to push it in front of me. And it is not all-terrain wheels. And the ground, the sidewalk, roads, all that, they're not designed for walkers. And so it takes work. And then if I put anything in the basket, then I'm actually having to push extra weight, and that's more stress on my body. And especially, I was using this arm. I gripped the handle of the walker to make sure I was engaging the muscles, and I was making sure that I was using that arm. So that's a lot of extra stress. And then, after taking a very short nap, I got up at 6:30, went in there and recorded Dead Island, edited Dead Island, and then while it was rendering, I played some Bloodborne and recorded that. And then went into Share Factory, did the editing that I can in Share Factory on that, and because it's still, I'm hurting, it's even less editing than I usually do, and got that ready, and then came back to uploading of the Dead Island video, and then did a shorts from the time I was there. But then the time I got back from sitting, it was close to midnight. So I spent all that time walking to Walmart and all that time doing stuff in there. So how can I say that it impacts my daily life stuff? Well, that's different. I'm just sitting in a chair and using my arm. That's not really, getting up and dressing. That's not getting up and doing, walking everywhere and just, you take a shower, you take out the garbage, I'm not doing this stuff because, oh my goodness, I'm pushing and trying as much as I can, and I'm doing a lot, and that's good, but I am still, my daily life is impacted. My activities of daily life are vastly different from what they used to be. I still spend a lot of time lying down here because it's the only position where I'm not hurting a lot. If we go from the 0 to 10 stage, 0 is nothing and 10 is the worst that you've ever felt. Well, right now, I'm at about a 5, and that is the resting pleasant stage. When I'm up and using it, it goes up into the 6, 7, sometimes an 8 stage. And when things are going poorly, as they do a couple times a day, it reaches the 9 stage. But I have also, throughout my life, been used to pain. In 1989, I started working as a nurse's aide, and I was already taking a lot of over-the-counter stuff for pain. My back. By the time I hit the year 2000, just to work, I was taking a handful of over-the-counter tablets, and it barely helped. So I was already living with a lot of pain. And then in the year 2003, I hurt my back so bad, I can't work anymore. Even now, 20 years later, lifting anything more than like 10 or so pounds is pain. The pain signals in my back have never shut off from that injury. I'm used to living with pain. So this, it's bad. But as someone with chronic pain, you live with it. So a 5 or a 6, that's just background anymore. But a lot of people do it, and that's fine. You know, goody. Again, it's my pain doesn't invalidate anybody else's pain, and anybody else's pain does not invalidate mine. But people who are used to living with chronic pain, you get used to living with chronic pain. So, goody on that. And of course, yesterday, while I was in there, I took my meds at 11 o'clock so that when I got to bed at midnight, I'd be feeling pretty good. That's the way I do my stuff. It's an hour before I'm supposed to take it, but I do that with everything. And so it's really, I'm, clicked everything back. It's a weird thing with my head. And I slept until 7:30, which is great. I haven't slept that well in a long time. But 7:30 is an hour and a half past the time I should have taken my meds. So I'm not feeling pretty good right now. I had to smoke 2 full bowls of cannabis just so that I could really function. Yay on that. Oh boy. And of course, one of the first things I do is boot up my computer, check my email, and my therapy's been canceled. Everything is being canceled. Which, my therapist has a horrible, horrible cold. So I understand. I'm not upset. Things happen. So life is life. Yay on that. And oh my God, I took Gabapentin at 6 o'clock-ish last night. Now, I have noticed that usually when I take my Gabapentin, about 6 hours later, I start getting a little bit on the loopy side. It does not hit me until that time. It takes about 6 hours, and I get really goofy. It is a pattern I have noticed. And last night, I was so I could feel it because of where I am on the autism spectrum. I have an extra, well, it's not an extra thing. I am just able to intellectually and coldly evaluate how my behavior is, even as I am being affected by that behavior. It doesn't change how my behavior is. I'm more aware of it even as it's happening. And last night, that detached intellectual part of myself was just going, oh my God, look at you. Because I was stoned out of my head. And it was not a cannabis stone. This was I am loopy from something else. And yeah, it was the gabapentin, but I was just when I was turning corners, I had to be careful because my balance was going way over. And I was thinking weird and saying odd things because, I'm a human being. I occasionally talk to myself out loud when I'm at home. It was not an unpleasant feeling, but it's not something that I said I want to have happen. It happened to me without my volition, without my autonomy. It was imposed upon me. And while I say it is a semi-pleasant feeling, I, all my life, have sought the non-normal feeling of medications. And medications are the only thing that will give you that non-normal feeling. So, again, pleasant, but not self-imposed, and so unpleasant because of that. But it did help me sleep real well. So, yeah, on that. There's more I've wanted to talk about, but of course I can't remember it. Yay! I mean, I've been thinking of all of my characters and my setting and such, and there's a lot I wanted to talk. I was thinking about one thing. Oh boy, here I'm affected. That's the other thing. That detached part of me, I can hear it when Gabapentin is really affecting my speech. I can hear myself either talking to do these sort of things or talking to myself, and it's like, oh my God, I can hear that thick tongue of the Gabapentin affecting me. So if it's really affecting me right now, because I can't hear it all the time, I have to, when it's bad, I can really hear it, but so hopefully it's not. But I had been thinking of my setting with the King in Crimson and all that, and the infinite ocean of potential, which in the setting is an actual ocean when you get there. And Old Ray and the Speleodoncus, and how she was formed, where she was formed, and once again, the infinite ocean of potential and possibility contains, copies of everything. And they're every possible variation of everything along every possible stage of development. It is the multiverse written small. But only things formed of that energy are in it. On the razor's edge, a lot of creatures that are formed of the energies, that interstitial energy from the two universes rubbing together. There is a leak of energy, and that leak of energy is this interstitial energy. This interstitial energy is a different energy and not of, because of that leak and transformation, of the infinite ocean of potential and possibility. Anything formed of that energy is fully unique. Because in the infinite ocean, it doesn't matter how often the universe is reset and destroyed, everything is in the infinite ocean. But if you are formed of the energy, that interstitial energy, you are a complete and unique individual that will never be seen again. You're not in the infinite ocean. The Speleodoncus was formed of this energy. And Old Ray and the Speleodoncus, Old Ray, when he was 8 years old, was looking through books and saw pictures of people riding bicycle-like things from the Crimson Kingdom, from a book 50 years old. And being a kid, wanted one, but they didn't have one, and so he decided he was going to design and build one. 8 years old. And so I think I'd change that to 10, so 8 or 10. But it's like that age. And there was a huge amount of this interstitial energy, which does happen on the razor's edge. These blobs will form, and they are creative blobs, but this energy has to discharge to actually affect itself, to discharge and then expend its energy. Good things can happen, but bad things happen from the arc. The speed of how quickly energy will form into something also affects it. Because our lives of 70 years, we're fine. I say 70 years as just an average. But if you lived your complete full life as we do now in a half a second, all that energy, we'd just explode. Take an atomic bomb, stretch it out 1,000,000 years, you'd never even notice it. So this energy that would normally have had a very bad arc actually took 2 years to funnel down through the speleodon, through Ray, he wasn't old at that time, and into the speleodoncus as he designed and formed it. And 2 years later, when he was done, it was done. It altered Ray, but it also became the speleodoncus. And the speleodoncus, coming to fruition in life, having dimly been aware as she was formed, when she saw the 12-year-old boy that had formed her, had felt immediately that she would die for this person. Now, old Ray is one of those very, very few, 1 in 10,000, but really rolled the dice well. But even without that, was just one of those pure and innocent people that's 1 in 10 million. Just absolutely pure without a single fiber of negativity within. But being 1 in 10,000, that's where his immortality came from, because old Ray reaches a stage of 42 and a half and stays there. Immortal, not invulnerable. He will live until something kills him. And the speleodoncus, well, she's a being of great energy. She's just going to live as long as he does. But she's in the shape of this bicycle-like thing. She's alive and loves Ray. And Ray, I am sorry, old Ray loves her. Now, he is also altered by this energy that poured through him. But being an innocent, he was actually not damaged by it. And the first thing is, it took his gift of having the sight, being able to use glamours, and just pumped his sight up to human maximum and more. So he is a huge sight. He can use glamours at his own ability at will, and he can ride the line hard. And it also altered his extra universal senses, and then they are huge. If we gamified this again, if you had 0 at nothing and 100 at human maximum, his extra universal senses are 200. And they are paranoid. They are constantly searching for everything, and they flag everything. But if you flag everything, you're flagging nothing. So the interpreters filter out and then send to the contextualizer everything they think is dangerous. The contextualizer sorts and filters that stuff out and then sends all of its results into the neural inputs in. Everybody has brain tissue in your gut. For real and for true. Look it up. It is a true thing. This all gets fed into that neural tissue. So, and all rays of subconscious. So he listens to his gut because his gut tells him if something's wrong, you don't go there. And his senses being so paranoid, well, by the time the kaiju rampages and eats 12,500 people in Apple Rock, he's 700 years old. He listens to his gut because his gut keeps him alive. So these two things have happened to him because of the passage of the energy through him. The bad part that actually did happen is his family and himself as a child. You know, by the time it got bad enough, he was old enough to go out on his own at about 18 years, but it just destroyed the ability of everything around the house to survive except for his family. You know, crops weren't working, livestock couldn't live because there were no crops, and the land was no good by that time. So he went out on his own with the Speleodoncus, and 700 years later they're still going, and things are good that way. So I'm still thinking of characters, trying to keep things in mind, and once again, one day I'm going to tell the story where they travel, because the Speleodoncus, being of this interstitial energy, old Ray is in the infinite ocean. Every possible version of Ray is there, you know, along every possible stage of development, but the Speleodoncus is not. And that makes me sad. Part of what happens is the story of him, her, and their joy. And not their joy. There is joy. But their journey. So I'm going to tell that again, hopefully, on another day. But I've been 22 minutes at this. So thumbs up. I'm going to be uploading the Bloodborne that I recorded as well yesterday. So if I feel really good enough about it, I'm going to be making another Dead Island as well, and another short. So I'm just tired of not doing things. I can push and do stuff like the gaming and sitting, my other activities of daily life where I have to do and move my whole body, including my arm. Those are the ones and things that get badly impacted. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. This is the power cord to the laptop. I try to keep it on the top of the bed so that it does not fall back behind things and pull on the cord of the laptop. So that, to explain, is what this thing is here. I did not get the little baffy thing set up here. I'm sorry. You have a good day. Moving. Oh, my little turn off the recording thing is right there.